I need to see you just a second after court.
Heck no.
I need to see you a second. Okay, I think it's about that time. Looks like Paula's in. We got everybody in? Okay. Let me wait just a second. Okay, I think at this time it's about that time, so we'll call the meeting of the Madison County Fiscal Court to order. Kenny?
Master King.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Hughes.
Here.
Master Combs.
Here.
Judge Clark.
Here. You all have had a chance, and we've got copies of two meetings with the minutes of the last two meetings. You all have had a chance to look at those. If there's no discussion or changes, then a motion will be in order to approve those as submitted in your packets.
So moved. Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. We had our treasurer's report last month.
I've got one too.
If you want to, Glenda, that'd be great.
We're only having one meeting this month. As of October 31st, 2012, our total fund balances were $4,582,870.14. At the end of November 30th, 2012, our balance is at $5,772,550.62. We are doing fine on all of our revenues and expenditures. Our general fund, our revenues are at 44%, and our expenditures are at 32.6%. Our road fund is at 55.6% revenues and 33.3% on expenditures. Our jail fund is at 53.4% on revenues and 44.2% on expenditures. Our CSEP fund is at 17.1% on revenues and 15.8% on expenditures. And our 911 fund is at 38.6% on revenues and 26.5% on expenditures. Does anybody have any questions about?
So they're all running.
Revenues are up.
Yes.
And
All of our expenditures are
persons
down. The jail, they've done some extra things, but they've given us the money to, like the cameras, they've given us the money to purchase those.
Doug's, everything we've done at the jail, Doug's reimbursed us.
Any kind of special projects
Which
he's
is
done, he
an-
reimburses us.
Excellent, Doug. I know you're in there someplace.
It's easier for us to purchase those things like cameras because they go on our inventory and our assets, and it's easier for the auditors to look at it when it's purchased through the jail fund.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. Okay, we're going into order of business, and first off, one of our favorite people in Richmond, Lori Tatum's here, and she just wanted to come talk a little bit about Richmond tourism and the fiscal court, I think.
Well, actually, I wanted to come and give you all a Christmas present. I wanted to thank the fiscal court for always supporting Richmond tourism, and Judge Clark is always so kind to me. And anytime we need anything, you all are always the first person to support us. And I also wanted to compliment the Battle of Richmond folks and Philip Seifert. Philip has become a member of our team, and we kid that he's our big brother that comes and helps us. And he comes about once a week, and we meet and talk, and he really helps us with everything. And we really couldn't have gotten through the past couple weeks without him. But I wanted to present to you all. I'll get Philip to help me. Go. This is from the Richmond Tourism Commission, and I thought this would be beautiful here in your courthouse, and it's just a thank you from our office to yours. So thank you all very much, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Beautiful, thanks, Lori. And I promise you, we can find some place to put it. I might have to take Dr. Tudor's Jimmy Carter picture down out here. We'll find some place to put it. Thank you very much. We appreciate you all. You know, we try to tell people Richmond and Berea's in Madison County, and we're all working together to do the right things and make that quality of life the best for the residents of the whole county. And when we say the whole county, we mean Richmond and Berea. So it's been a great working relationship with you all, and we look forward to years and years and years of continuing to do that. Really do. Next, Philip and Paula are here with the Battle of Richmond Association. Philip, would you all like to come up? And I can't say enough about these two because they just go, go, go. They never stop.
Thank you, Judge Clark, and a big thank you to the Fiscal Court. Without you all, we wouldn't have that beautiful park that we have. We wouldn't have visitors coming to enjoy that, and I see every day, even in the fall, there are more and more people who are taking that walking trail and enjoying that park, and without the combined efforts with several groups, and especially Fiscal Court, Madison County wouldn't have that, and it is truly one of Madison County's treasures. The Visitor Center is now getting more and more people to come through there. Sometimes they just stop at the Visitor Center and don't go on down 421. But Philip has done a remarkable job with the Visitor Center, and those displays change about from time to time. So if you haven't been out there in a while, go out there again. Give it a month or so, and you might see something different. But it is all about bringing the wonderful history, the rich, rich history of Madison County alive and bringing it to the forefront for all of Madison County to enjoy and the visitors that come into Madison County. There's a lot of folks that travel that interstate. They need to stop and see what Madison County is all about and what we have to offer. I can't thank Philip enough for the support, not only as a member of BORA, but to support BORA and be such a positive force and help us with ideas to bring Battle of Richmond Association to the forefront. And that, I think, is going to be the goal this year, is our membership drive. And it's a part of history that we need to hold on to learn from. We're living in tumult times now, and what better resource and history to learn from our past is to not repeat it but make things better, and that's what we strive to do. And Philip, thank you very much for everything you've done to help Bora.
Remember Greg here.
Yes, and Greg and Charlena with all of the work that they do with our receptions, with our ladies' social at reenactment. This gentleman works his can off to provide this beautiful spread that not only you see this morning, but at our ladies' socials, at the reenactment, at any special function that Bora has, such as a marker dedication or whatever Bora needs. Greg Tipton and his sister Charlena certainly step up to the plate and do more than their share to make it nice and put on a beautiful spread for everyone. And we can't thank them enough either. They're a great asset to Bora. I'm sure glad I drug you in kicking and screaming. Thank you again, and everyone, please have a Merry Christmas.
We appreciate y'all so much. I mean, everywhere I go, some representatives of Bora are there, and they're welcoming people and talking to people, you know, and it's just, you're getting out so much, and that helps so much. I mean, making people aware of the park, the 600-acre park we now have out there, and kind of update you. I think, Philip, we got the new window in the slave quarters. So we're meeting. Philip just met with the Heritage Council, and it looks like we could be close to getting the $440,000 released to redo the inside of the house. And we're also going to shore up and do what we can to the outbuildings. So it's going to be better and better. And talked to Cheryl yesterday, and there's going to be some more iced tea money available. So we're going to try to do another 2.5 miles of trails out there down through Churchill's Draw.
Great.
And come all the way back around. So you know, with the big pond. So it gets better and better, and it's a wonderful project, and it couldn't have happened without teamwork, with everybody working together to make it happen. Really.
Philip has just coined a phrase now that we're going to use with Bora from here on out, and that phrase is,
What's next?
what's next?
If you like what we've done,
Well,
you haven't seen anything yet.
It's been marvelous, and Clay and the golf course, we just did an improvement to 18. We've been trying to do a hole or a new green every year, and the golf course is just wonderful. People brag on it from all over the state. And that's part of the Battle of Richmond, with the Palmer House is the pro shop. So it's turned into just a great project that everybody worked on and everybody's had just a little part of.
And we're not finished yet.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Okay. Now we'll get into the dull stuff. First reading of ordinance 1213, and this was regarding pawnbrokers and other precious metal dealers. We've talked about this for quite a while. The cities of, you got it, Roger?
Deb has a 13, I got a
Judge,
12.
I had probably an extra 5 copies in my packet, so I bet they should have get the others. So if I can, while you're talking, if I can
Okay.
distribute these. Come behind.
It's kind of, the Kentucky legislature enacted Chapter 226 of revised statutes, and what it does, it governs the business of pawnbrokers throughout the Commonwealth, and we, as the other 119 counties in Kentucky, have a terrible problem of theft, stealing, and we've had 2 towers, Carl, at Waco.
Now, Harborly twice and Lex Road twice.
Yeah, so, and they're taking this stuff and with no records. So what we've tried to do is we waited a little bit till Richmond and Berea, and we've kind of modeled our ordinance pretty much the same as Richmond and Berea, where people that are getting rid of this stuff, they submit a driver's license, they submit a picture of themselves, they submit a sworn statement on, where it came from and is it theirs, and it's going to be tough to enforce, and sheriff's here today, and it'll be kind of up to him, but he feels comfortable with it, and we just felt like it was time that we stepped up and joined Richmond and Berea in making it tougher, making it harder and harder and harder for these thieves stealing things and then going to hock them for a 10th or a 20th of what they're worth. So I'm not going to read the whole ordinance to you. It's whereas the Kentucky legislators enacted Chapter 226 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes, a chapter which governs the business of pawnbrokers through the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And whereas Kentucky Revised Statute Sections 226.040 is the section within Chapter 226 which sets forth various record-keeping requirements applicable to the conduct of pawnbrokers' business throughout the Commonwealth, and whereas the Fiscal Court of Madison County finds it to be in the public's interest that the provisions regarding such record-keeping be set forth with greater particularity as to assist county law enforcement personnel in the discharge of their other duties. I'm not going to go into it, but it's pretty much you got to be accountable. You have to show ID. You have to say where it came from, and you take a picture. So we feel like that we let the 2 cities kind of get it down to an art, and then we pretty much copy their ordinances. And I'd really open the floor up. Anybody has any comments about this, I'd open it up to the court. We've talked about it for a long time, and I think it's something that
It's a needed ordinance.
that we really need.
What is, Mark, what is Leads Online, or what is that?
The sheriff might describe it better than me, but it's a resource where you can obtain information regarding possible stolen items or other crimes for that matters, and it's just another resource that law enforcement has to get more evidence about a particular offense. There's a lot of cases that are solved because of tips being placed on Leads Online. Sheriff, you agree with that?
Yes. Okay.
I've had a couple of business folks talk about this. This makes it much more difficult for thieves to sell their stuff, but it also makes it a little bit more difficult on the business people too, because they've got more records to keep, and it's a kind of a burden on business people. But it's, we have to do whatever we can to slow down this thievery that's going on and making it more difficult. So I understand it.
Well, I agree with you. It does make it a little more burden for honest people, but not the ones that's not honest.
It's got so bad, they stealing manhole covers off the grates out on the road, so.
Well, I'm afraid what
it's-
happens is that if the county doesn't pass this, and there are similar ordinances in the city, that ultimately more and more people are gonna be going out in the county where it's unregulated. So I think this is a really good move that you guys are considering. Larry, you and I talked about it 6 months ago, and just
6
kind of
months, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing that you consider.
And I'd say the bulk of it is in the county right now.
You know, and the one thing is, and I've had several people, when I've talked to them about this ordinance, well, they'll just go across the line. I'm not gonna mention any counties or this county. But still, again, they can't do it in Madison County. And hopefully these other counties will pick up on this. We'll start initiating ordinances like this, and things will get a lot better. But we're in a sad shape right now. We really are.
Well, hopefully, if we do it, other counties will follow.
But if there's no other discussion, a motion will be in order to approve first reading of ordinance 1213, dealing with regulating pawnbrokers, jewelry stores, dealers in precious metals, junk dealers, scrap metal dealers, secondhand stores, secondhand dealers conducting business within Madison County.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Have one other ordinance here, and it's ordinance 1212. And really what it's doing, amending ordinance 0421 on business license. This is kind of a housekeeping type deal. We used to issue our business license through our finance department, and became very much more aware that Dwayne and his staff at Planning and Development, they're out there every day. They're seeing everybody that's working. You know, they have more staff that they can stop and find out if these different subcontractors, these contractors, have been issued a business license. So all this is really, it's just changing the restriction from the finance department issuing business license to the planning and development department. They can keep up with it a lot more, and they can enforce it a lot more. So it's kind of a housekeeping, you might say, where we can get a lot better results from planning and development Dwayne's staff. So I'd be more than glad to answer any questions. Dwayne's here if anybody has anything about ordinance 1212. And if not, any comments from magistrates?
About how many business licenses do we have in the county? Do you know?
There's a little over 3,000.
3,000.
We've partnered up real well with the finance office on this. We're actually sharing, getting ready to share a database that we're doing online now too, to help with if they've got a business that's delinquent in their net profits or their occupational tax, that lets us know, and then we begin to help do the enforcement on that end of it in the field too. So it's worked out real well to do it this way. We've been doing it about a year now, and it works out real well.
No questions. Motion on first reading of ordinance 1212. Motion in order on Dwayne's recommendation and Glennis.
So moved.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Next on the agenda is CSEP personnel. I know the magistrates were invited to sit in on these, as some of them have asked, and they have sat in. And I don't think anybody in the whole state goes through a more diligent interview and point scoring than Carl and his staff. As you all can see, the names, they interviewed 6 individuals, and they score them from everywhere from experience and knowledge and educational experience, available for back shifts, weekends, just on and on and on. And Carl, I think you all interviewed 6, and you
Interviewed 6 out of our 11 applicants.
You've got a recommendation of the court.
I do. I'd like to, the first name there, you've got Michael's and my comparisons. We do the interviews together, so we hear the same things, and we can follow up on each other's questions. But we view things differently, as people do. So I gave you Michael's sheet as well as mine, so that you could see how we both looked at them. As far as how the individuals fell out in the scoring, we agreed on them. It's just our points were a little different of how many the individuals had. But the first column there with Daniel, that's the person we'd like to hire. He's got his bachelor's degree in IT systems from EKU. He lives in Berea. He's been there since 2003, a military family. His dad moved here in 2003 as a military duty, and they never left. They just, like you talk about quality of life, Judge, they loved it here, and he plans to stay here. He's got his own family now and lives down in Berea and plans on staying there. He's good with hands-on. He understands the hardware, the software, and some people are used to larger IT departments that we interviewed. They, who's going to run the wire, who's going to do this? It's like you are. You're a department of one. So you're the head cook, the maitre d', the chef, the bottle washer, all in one. So if you don't like getting dirty, then this is probably not the job for you, because you're going to be crawling under floor running wire and the ceiling and the attics. And so we got it down to the top 3 people are all great. I'd love to have them all, but obviously I've got one spot right now, so I'd like to fill it with Daniel. Of course, he's got to give a 2-week notice to his current employer here in the county, but he's a bright young individual. I think he'll be with us for a long time. You guys may want to steal him eventually, but he's
up to date is Ryan has been Carl's IT person, and we stole him, and we brought him in.
And you stole Scott, a really good guy.
We let Carl train him and do everything he needs to do for 4 or 5 years, and then we bring him in to...
We got some great employees in the county.
But they really are. It's been a great help for us.
So I'd like to hire Daniel. I'm impressed with him. He talks the jargon. He understands the business. He takes care of 23 facilities right now in his current job with a whole multitude, over 1,500 users. When we showed him our little system of 4 facilities and 150 users, he was like, okay, what do I do the rest of the day? It's like, well, there's a lot of other things you don't do in your current job that you'll be doing in this job, like running wire and, fixing desktop laptops and stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm good with that stuff. So he's a perfect fit for us, and I like him a lot. I think he's going to be an asset to us.
Excellent. Any questions for Carl?
Looks good.
Not on Carl's recommendation, a motion be in order to hire Daniel Brindley.
So moved.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Carl. Judge's report, as I preach all the time, please shop local for Christmas. Christmas is a week away today. And if you can, stay local. Want to thank Bora and Historic Properties for the opening breakfast reception today. Boy, y'all just keep on doing an excellent job. And as we approach Christmas, let us remember our friends, family, fellow citizens, and what they mean to us, especially following this devastating tragedy in Connecticut. And we've had a lot of devastating tragedies. Sandy is just recently, and it's going to be years before we get over that. But it's when you start involving 4 and 5 and 6-year-old kids, it really gets to your heart. But as a community, a city, county, state, across the world, we need to be accepting, appreciative, and show the true meaning of Christmas to our fellow friends. So I would ask everybody to do that. I think it's very important. I can't imagine something like that happening here, but it could. You never know where it could happen. So we send our prayers out to them, And I watch the news like early every morning, and they buried 2 yesterday and 2 today, and they're going to spend the week getting that over with, and it's Christmas week, so that makes it a lot worse. But it's just terrifying, and those individuals that lost their young children maybe will never get over it. But I just ask for all of us to think about that and think about our neighbors and our friends and our family, and wish you a very Merry Christmas. It's next week. But that's all I have in the judge's report. I'd open the floor up for comments from department heads. Carl, do you have something?
Just one item for you guys. And I think, Roger, I think it's your district, but our favorite location at 2057 Tates Creek Road has slid again last week. That's the place we've been now 3 times in less than 2 years for mudslides. I think, Dwayne, you went out and looked at it before. It's not going to stop until somebody, and it's a state road, until somebody does something to reinforce that bank, since they cut a driveway in, I'll call it, right, Dwayne, wouldn't you call it a driveway? And at some point it could hurt somebody. So, like I said, it's at 2057 Tates Creek. It happened again. State Highway Department was there. We were there, and then Fire Department was there until we got it cleaned up again. But another 3 or 4 hours of our resources tied up on something that, like I said, 3 times in less than 2 years, and it's not going to stop. It's just a matter of time. We're almost thinking about starting a tip board on it. When's it going to go next? And it's basically usually a day to a day and a half after a good rain. We got that 3.5 inches in about 6 days. The day later, here it comes, and it's always going to be an issue until we get somebody to do something. It should be the state, but Dwayne's been out there; he's seen it firsthand at least twice. So that's all I wanted to bring up, just because you guys need to be aware of it.
Well, there's more than one location that's the same issues at hand, just where they've cut to build a house on top of a hill. And I've talked to the state a time or two, and I'm not an engineer and don't try to be, but until they figure out how to make those people catch the water before it ever runs to that road, and channel it somehow, but I don't know how you do it. It's just the approval of letting them have the road, I think. I mean, it needs to be designed different or something from the state, letting them cut it the way they do.
Yeah, it's
a state highway, and the state approves the entrance.
Yep, I know. We're left holding the bag, though. I mean, they got to respond too, but we're left. Our fire department, our law enforcement agencies, and then EMA that are out there with them every time. And they wish something would be done about it too, but it's way up the food chain in the state government. But until we do some real engineering and some real preventative measures, we're going to continue to go back there. We need to put us a little pavilion or hut out there to sit in, because we're out there on a lot, regular basis. And the last time was really bad. Had the last time hit a car moving, we would have probably had a fatality. This time it wasn't so bad, but the previous time was multiple dump truck loads simultaneously down on the road. So.
I see Senator Carpenter making notes back there, so I see you may see something on that.
Thanks, Carl. Any other department heads have anything to say? If not, members of the court, Greg, anything?
You elaborated on about everything I was going to talk about. Is we all know that this is a very special time of the year, and love is something that can cure a lot of people's hearts. And as we look, and I know as all them people, every time you turn the news on, hear the radio, your heart grips and just feels like, the pain that they go through. And yet we don't really compare it because we ain't been put in that place. But I'd say this over the holidays is Christmas and New Year's, let us be thankful for what we do have. We may not be rich, we may not be millionaires, but if we could have that love and the gift that God gave us all, then that would be the greatest thing of all. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Roger?
Well, in light of what's happened in Connecticut, everybody's got heartfelt feelings about it, but sometimes it makes me feel guilty when I think about it, to enjoy my 2 children that's grown up and grown now, that some of them won't get that privilege. And that's why you got to take every day for what it is, and it could be your last. But we need to celebrate the real reason for the season. I hope you all know what that is.
Thank you. Bill Ray?
It's a pleasant surprise seeing our Bora people here and Richmond tourism here today. I went through Irvington on Saturday night where they'd opened up for, it's like stepping back in time 150 years with the enactors in there and the little vignettes and all the rooms, and it was just so beautiful. And then went on out to Whitehall, and that's just such a treasure in our community, and it just decorated so beautifully. And what you said, that our history in Madison County is, it's probably unappreciated by too many of us, how much rich history we do have here. And I'm just glad to see you all today, and thank you for the work that you do.
Larry?
Judge, of course, I know through the holidays it's hard to get some stuff done, but that 1016 and 421 is still on my mind, and I talked to Senator Carpenter last night about it, and then we've got another little project we want to look at on Old 25, Dead Man's Curve, straightening it out a little bit, but he never has met with you, has he?
No.
Well,
He's just been busy, but
I
he's
know
got
that.
it.
I understand that, but that's just two things on my mind that maybe first of the year we really get on that because it's such a dangerous situation. And it's good to see Senator Carpenter here and our clerk, Darlene. Good to see you. Other than that, I'm just glad to be here, Judge.
We're glad to have you. Jared, we are glad to have you. We appreciate you taking time to come into the court meeting and listen to some of our problems.
I can tell you why he's here. We never run into each other unless there's food out there.
Somebody said there was food, and I thought, sure, that was
Well, I thought you might be here to announce a new factory here.
Yeah. Hopefully we will soon.
Good. I compliment you on that.
Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to talk to the court about anything whatsoever? Anything?
It's good to see Jerry back among us.
Yeah.
It is. Good to see you, Jerry.
Sheriff's back, doing an excellent
On
job.
his budget, do we have to have two readings on the sheriff's budget or just one?
No, we've got till the middle of, really 17th, 18th of January. And Kenny's putting new software in, so he's a little behind, and I think Jerry's working on his with Tommy
You got it too.
and Mike.
Yeah.
So we'll probably, even if we have to have a special call meeting, Larry, to look at those. But we really just have to have, it's not an ordinance, so we can do it in one reading.
I'll have mine to y'all first week of January.
But we really need to look at it and go over it and sit down and talk with Glenna before we present it to the fiscal court, make sure everything's okay. Other than that, motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Thank everybody. We've got some different people in. And I see Randy Lamb back there. I grew up with him from Big Hill, Kentucky. Darlene, thank you all so much for coming in. And we appreciate it. And I want to wish you all on behalf of the fiscal court a very, very Merry Christmas. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
Get our soldiers overseas.
Oh, yeah.